So one of my favorite topics to talk about with labor management is what creates the failures. Why does a program not succeed? And with 1,500 behind us, we've had some that haven't gone 100% well. So starting from the top, putting a production rate on a bad process. You still get gains, but a lot of times we can get more gain from the process improvement than the actual production rate itself. So if you've got an operation where you're picking and then that goes to packing, if we can combine those two together, pick and pack, sometimes we can get 30 or 40% labor gains just by putting those two processes together. Think about with grocery picking yourself when you go to the grocery store. If you could pick and pack it into the bag and check it out as you were rolling, you'd cut 30, 40% plus all the wait time up front out of it and all of the rehandling. So by getting a good process in place, you can definitely get a lot more gain. With the technology itself, you need a good, discrete labor management system that has XYZ mapping within it to get to a dynamic travel. If we're going in with strict lines per hour, cases per hour, we're just not going to get the gains that we would get from a true dynamic standard. We have had instances where we've had a labor management tool up and in place with a good process, good production rate, and then for whatever reason, that labor management system gets turned off. In that case, we generally see labor productivity dropping that day 20 to 25%. So by having that good labor management system in place up all the time is going to hold those gains true. The most common reason for failures is management lack of execution with the tool. We are adding things to the management's toolkit, and to get results, you need to use the tools. And some managers are not ready for the conflict that the tool is going to create. By producing 100 lines per hour yesterday was fine. Now with an engineered labor standard in place, I'm having to increase my productivity by 15, 20%. Now the manager knows and can see where that person's falling down. They can see that it took them 22 minutes to log into their first assignment. It can see that in between first break and lunch that the person was only on a productive task for an hour. So they know exactly where someone's laying down, but that manager has to go and react to it. They have to go coach that individual on their behavior to get them on task. By having an accountability guideline in place, it's just like having an attendance policy. Is you can't make someone show up for work. It's up to them to show up to work. But we need a good attendance policy to hold that in place. You don't ever want to use that attendance policy. People are hard to hire. They're hard to train. The burn-in takes a lot of work, but we need to have a policy in place. Same thing goes with tracking productivity. We're going to build a minimum productivity expectation. It's 2.78 miles an hour for walk. You can blow past that any day. You can maintain it for an entire career. But people need to show up to work, and then when they're there, they need to produce. We need to have accountability guidelines with it. If those accountability guidelines aren't used, your bottom 5 to 10% of your workforce are going to pull your entire team down to that minimum expectation, because people are going to produce to the level that management